Alright fam, well it's time to engage. Moods are front and center, enter the stage. Mind, body and spirit to try synergy. Ask not like Kennedy, feel the energy. Jump as you live, try to give all positive vibes. Ignite your cognitive senses. The consensus, moods are stupendous, tremendous, and kicks like Juventus. Always on point, sharp like a knife, cutting through the bull, tame the strife of life. With no type of hype, don't like take a hike or roll the dice, grab the mic, connect like Skype. No need to save face, it's a safe space conducive to mental fitness, wellness inclusive. Chasing nirvana, elusive. Instead, shed the abusive pattern, real like the rings of Saturn. Full circle, Mutai's in purple, royalty regal. She's killing you with kindness, it's almost illegal. So my people, life is up and down like a seesaw. Calito, fly away high like an eagle. Watch the leaves grow. Once my flow is flawless, then it's finito.
Right here on Diplomatic Radio. It's Shifting Your Mindset with Mutsa. I have the most amazing woman in the house today. How are you?
Hey, Mutsa, how are you? Thank you so much for hosting me.
No, thank you so much for making time to come. So what we do on the show here, one of the theme is we like to empower, inspire, and heal. So I think today's topic, I felt like you were one of the key people that will be able to get us to that point of empowering, inspiring, and healing with regards to our culture. But before we go into that, I just want us to know you. We want to get to know you first because I always say for us to know where we're going, we need to know where we're coming from.
Definitely.
Yourself, please. Where you're from, your name, your background, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. My name is Diana Samkange, popularly known as Mangwenya as well. I'm a mom, mother of two. I'm a musician. I'm a counselor and a businesswoman, farming to be precise. And I come from Zimbabwe. I'm Zimbabwean, and I come from Jimba, actually, in Mashonaland West. I play the mbira, and I am a cultural advocate.
Wow. Okay. So, did you grow up in Harare or in Jimba?
I grew up in Harare. I've always been a Harare girl. Yeah, my parents raised me in Harare, but I appreciate where I come from a lot. So I used to frequent Kumosha, that is, where we come from.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much for that. So just to go straight into the topic, because I know this is a very, very complex topic and we need a lot of wisdom. You are a cultural advocate. When did start? Okay, what do you mean when you say you're a cultural advocate?
What I basically mean is that I stand for my Zimbabwean culture and tradition and religion. That's what I mean by being a cultural advocate. So you find that I'm there to preach and to make people aware that, our roots is something we should always consider as people who are living in the modern world. So that is what I'm all about.
What is the Zimbabwean culture? What is it?
Zimbabwean culture. Yeah. They call it Chivanu, Chikaranga in our language. Zimbabwean culture is a way of life, how we live, how we eat, how we, communicate with each other, what we really stand for as Zimbabweans when other countries look at us. So that is our culture, that is our religion, and it's something that we should never really ignore because we are now living in the modern world. Most of the people might think, this is no longer important, but that's not the case because, like you said earlier on, for you to know where you're going, you need to actually understand where you came from. You need to actually study your present, I mean, your present self, so that you know where you're going, your future.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so yeah, and that's very important you say that, because as people, I think we have diverted from that aspect of our culture, because okay, I'll let you define. First of all, have you always been a cultural person growing up?
You know, it's funny because I would like to really say this has been such a journey for me, because I never really thought one day I would actually advocate for my culture, because I grew up as a modern, girl, just a usual girl who sings R&B, what. I think for me I love to explain it as spiritual. Um the spirit was leading, and that is where we got to.
Okay. When you say the spirit was leading, can you please explain that in detail? Because I think there's a lot of preconceptions, a lot of assumptions, a lot of, misinformation when we talk about the spirit, especially in our culture. When you say the
Okay.
spirit leading, what is it? What is the spirit?
Um, when we talk about our Shona culture, we believe that we are led by Mizumi, that's our ancestors. So I believe for me, time came where they actually, I don't want to say they visited me, but I now have a better understanding of these things, from even the music that I've chosen to perform and to sing as well. I believe I've gotten the I now know my purpose, which is to really preach about our Shona culture, or maybe Zimbabwean culture. So it got to a point that everywhere that I go or that I went, the people that I hung out with, I got so much knowledge from all those people, and I had a better understanding from that time onwards about the spiritual side or the traditional side of our Zimbabwean culture. So for me, it's been quite a journey, and I'm really embracing it, and I'm still moving with that journey. And I must say that I'm very proud to be associated with Zimbabwean culture or religion, and it is my duty, or maybe my purpose, to make people aware, especially the young people. I understand people might say, Chivanu Chikaranga is not so cool anymore. It's so 1942, but it is, I think it is my job as a young person as well, who's uh, who's very influential, to really preach about this whole Shona culture and how cool it can actually be, because it's not really like it's old fashioned. It's up to us to really bring it back, in a way that makes us comfortable, but acknowledging that we came from somewhere.
Right. That is powerful. Do you mind to share an experience you had, that epiphany moment? Was there some, thing is believing, right? Because I think one of the aspects of some of the things we hear about, which is Juzu, Badzimu, the Juzu are the mermaids, which are a myth, according to reality, modern day or fairy tale. It's like, and then we have Wadzimu, which are the spiritual aspect, and in some churches they're seen as demons. You can't connect with the dead. And then we have Mashavi, where again they're seen as demons. Where you feel like you have that spirit, that upper spirit to lead you. And when you refer to it with some people in religion, they see it as, you're submitting yourself to being possessed type of thing. Can you please explain what was your epiphany moment?
I think the most saddest part about everything is to know that other religions might actually fail to embrace Chivano or Chikaranga Chilu. And yet, you know, the funny thing is, I've hung out around other people who worship through other means. They really acknowledge and they respect each other's religions and spiritual side. Unfortunately, the stereotype when it comes to Wanita Chivanu and mostly Christians, I've seen Christians. I'm not saying Christians are bad. I've got a Christian background. I grew up as a Christian, but as you grow up, you choose your journey, you choose the way you want to move, and that's where I got to. So I'm a start about, you know, you mentioned about Mashavi.
Mhm.
Mashavi is you know, like you said, it's a spirit which leads you. Shavi can come through as a spirit which, you know, gives you some good life. I mean, it leads you to have a good life. Mami Mashavi, they are there for you to be able to foretell what's going to happen in the future. And I believe that's a gift because when you know what's going to happen in the future, you know how to prepare for either good or bad things. So I don't believe that is a bad spirit or Shavi when it comes likewise. Other Mashavis like, you know, the gift. I like to call them gift in English.
Yeah.
Some gifts such as prophecy or the gift of dreams or the gift of healing. I believe those are very good talents or gifts. I mean, which either, you know, that, well, they keep us and they take care of us. I mean, when you have such talents, you know, you are, I would like to call it maybe a higher being spiritually than many of the other people, because not everyone has such talents. So when one has such, I think it's a plus. I think it's a gift which is from God at the end of the day, because all these talents or gifts, they come from God, nowhere else. But then you find that just like on earth, we have good people, we have bad people. In the spiritual world, I believe it's the same. They are good spirits and they are bad spirits. So you need to learn to differentiate which spirits reside in you. If it's a bad spirit, it has to be cast out because it will definitely bring bad luck or bad things into your life, which is not a very cool thing to be happening to you. But if they are good, I mean, it's good for you to embrace them and to really acknowledge that they are there to keep you and to just take care of you so that you live a very comfortable life. And then you mentioned about Midzimu, which is our ancestors, you know, relating to the Bible. Our ancestors, I mean, the word ancestor, even in the Bible, is there. It's all about acknowledging that they are people who lived before us, before we were born, before we started walking on this earth. They were people before us. So those are the people we refer to when we say Mazitate Gurelu or our ancestors. These people probably left, they died a long time ago. But in our Shona culture and tradition, we believe those are the people that watch over us. They actually take our problems to God. You know, that's a channel that we use as our, like in our Shona culture. So the
Yeah.
channel is I pray or, you know, Suma, I say something to them, to my ancestors, in a way at Nona Matana Kuchivani. They take all those problems, they also forward to God. That's our channel of praying. Just like how Christians say we pray through Jesus Christ, so that he takes our problems and issues to God the Creator. That's another channel they use. So that's how it works in the Shona or maybe Zimbabwean culture. I don't want to call it Shona culture because
Yeah.
you know, in Zimbabwe they are Shona, they are Ndebele, they are what, but the basics, that's how it works when we're talking about culture and tradition. And
Wow.
then you mentioned about Manjuzu and you know, yeah, I've seen many ladies of late. actually. They say, I've got mermaid spirits and what. There's been a craze of late about this whole mermaid spirit.
Mhm.
And I must say that I'm very worried when I start to discuss about those, because I've seen modern women of today. They feel like the mermaid spirits is all about bringing riches and wealth and which is what everyone wants. Of course, everyone wants a good life. So you end up seeing that most of us women, we embrace such spirits in order for them to take care of us. But I've got an issue about that, because how do you know that you are embracing, I mean, the good spirit or the bad spirit, like I said before? Because
Yeah,
these spirits, some of them are there to take care of us so that we're comfortable. Some of them are just spirits which are just wandering all over, and you accept and embrace them. So what it means is, if you accept that spirit, it will come with certain, rules, or rules of operation. If
yeah,
that spirit is a bad spirit, equity, it has got prostitution and what, when it resides inside you, it means that you also begin to do the same things that spirit is known to be doing, and which is not a very good thing. Of course, manjuzu, they are there. I mean, I know most of the real manjuzus that I know, they've got the gift of prophecy, the gift of dreaming, the gift of healing mostly, and of course the gift of good life. But the good life now has to be for everyone in your family, not just yourself, because remember, mashavi ayanini zimo, they are there to take care of the family through one person where they reside. That's how it's supposed to work. So you
okay.
find it's unfortunate that most of the people nowadays, they just go and they say we want to go and sort ourselves, so that Mzimu, Garapandiri. But then it's not for you only, it's for the whole family. When the spirit starts working through you, you have to attend even to family matters and issues. That's what the gift is all about. It's not really for you to just benefit and others watch. No.
Wow. So, does every family have Badzimu? Is it different, or do we all have the same because we're all Zimbabweans? Are they channels?
Okay. Every family, or maybe should I say Zinza Riga Riga, where we come from, they have their ancestral spirits. That is a fact, because in every Muri or family, they are people who lived before those people. So definitely there are spirits which guide the family branch, I mean the family tree, you know, in every family. So yes, it's a fact that every family has got Mizimu Yemo, which guides them and really takes issues to God the Creator.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to try and break them down. I know you've kind of like you've explained it, but I want to go deeper, dig deep a bit.
Uh-huh.
Then Juzu, which is in English, the mermaid, from
Yes.
standing. So that's not a myth. They exist.
Apparently, yes, they do. They really do. I know it's creepy, but they do exist. I have been fortunate enough to have an encounter with one. I mean, but they say that it happens mostly to people who also have sort of that spirit in them. Because for you to see, Juzu is mostly a spirit. It's not a human being like what people
So
think.
it's not half fish, half man.
Well, they say that it can come in that manner if it wants, but it can come in so many different ways. I mean, it's Juzu is a spirit, and it's gara mumvura, gara kunyangwe mumapako chaimo, because in those caves, the caves, they say mapako is like they are like underground passages. So they say that there's a world under there. So Juzu is a spirit which mostly resides in water, so it can only be seen by a person who also has a spiritual connection. Likewise, if you're just a normal person, you'll probably not just you'll not see it. I mean, we'll go to the beach with Muta, we hang out, we do this. And you come back, the beach was lovely, it was fine, but I'll tell you, girl, I was seeing things. So yeah, it differs actually.
Do you mind to share your encounter then, or you can't?
My encounter was a very strange one, and it took me so many years to really talk about this. I mean, we had gone to a place in Zimbabwe, Mashonaland West in Chorashanga. It's called the Chorashanga Green Pool. If you Google, even if you go on YouTube, that place is there. People go there for skydiving, for braai, for hanging out. But with me, it was a different encounter. I mean, we went there with a number of friends because apparently we wanted to use that place to shoot a video.
Okay.
So when we got there, you know, creepy things happened.
Great.
Yeah, creepy things happened.
So, did you actually see one yourself?
Okay, there were three of us. The
Right.
funniest thing is, we were all shown different things at the same time.
Okay.
Like I saw, I felt there was presence in the water, and I was nearby that pool. Before my friend grabbed my hand and said, "No, we need to go because they say I almost got taken with that presence." But then my other friend says, "We saw somebody like you, exactly like you, but with gray hair. She was like an older version of you, and she wanted to reach out to take you." That's what my other friend saw. The
Wow.
other friend actually saw me and another friend get into the water, and we came out. So that's why I say creepy things happened because everyone was shown different things at the same time. And it really doesn't happen to anyone who goes to Mtora Shanga Green Pool, but it happened to me. And all my friends actually said, I think Torwa, whatever that was, it wanted to really take you. So I have an uncle who also practices um, you know Zimbabwean culture and tradition and
Mhm.
healing. He says that I actually shouldn't go near water, especially when certain things are not done by Chivano, because if I go near any water body, I am definitely going to disappear. That's what he says. So I don't know how true that is. I'm still gonna try to get near water for the fun of it. I mean,
I've seen
if I
one.
go, I go.
Right, one of the videos is by the water, where where there are two guys chasing you, and then at the end, you're like they're waiting for you by the water. I've seen that video. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's very funny because I've seen that even anything that happens to me, even artistically, I love being around water. I don't even know why. I don't know why. Even the pictures, the photo shoots, everything. I'll be near some water body somehow. I don't know how that happens, but I just feel like when I go Panimvura or near any water body, I feel like I'm home. I feel like there's a sense of peace, away from so many energies that I can't handle. I feel like water has got some healing, you know, properties which I
Definitely.
get whenever I get there, like in Jimbo Zinoera. So I believe whenever I go to such places, ndinotobva ndine masimba enzvimbo iyoyo somewhere somehow. So that is why I love water so much. But then Tora Shanga Green Pool was just one creepy incident.
One journey and a half. So I just want. So I just want to reinstate what you said in English, that whenever you go to a place where there's water, you come back with more powers, more energized.
It's all about energies, yes.
Yeah, energies. I know. I can absolutely relate to that.
Hmm.
So, so so that's a separate entity. So there's the that's a spirit. Because now the thing is, I think in biblical terms, or some Christians will say these marine spirits.
Marine spirits,
Yeah,
yeah.
marine spirit is a bad spirit. Is a
Yeah,
spirit.
I've heard quite a number of people, Christians to be precise. I mean, they label those marine spirits, but I would like to differentiate. Well, like I mentioned earlier, in every spiritual realm, there are good energies and there are bad energies.
Absolutely.
So I believe that even in the marine world, like what they say, they are good spirits and they are bad spirits.
Mm,
And it's unfortunate that maybe they say that marine spirits are bad because in most cases, um, anogarapavana and bad things start to happen. But
mm-hmm.
then there are also cases where those spirits reside in a person and ukuru wa Mwari unotoratidzwa through that person because of the talent which will be in them. They
Right.
say injuries dzimwe dzinoimba zvinotonakidza, zvekuti you'll be taken away, you'll be like, oh, what's this music? Maybe that's why I do music, because maybe it's linked to the it's just a maybe. I'm still trying to really find out which happened. I mean, what happens to me, talent wise and spiritual wise. I'm still trying to get to that link. But whatever it is, I know that one thing that I know for sure is midzimu yangu, my ancestors, um, they are guiding me through this because in my family, the Samkange people are known to be very good singers. It's like a family gift.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe my ancestors are just guiding me to expose or to just maybe show the world this gift which is in my family through me as a person.
Right.
Ndopaya zvatambotaura kuti when there are certain spirits which reside in a person, it's not supposed to be for one person to benefit. It's supposed to be for the whole
For the
family to benefit.
yeah,
So
and
now they say that, oh, she's Diana Samkange, she's a great musician. But which name is going far? The Samkange name is going far because they are well-known musicians and song composers and what. But maybe my ancestors have gone further to really put me in in a space where I'm very well known and popular, and I've got into certain platforms which are higher than everyone else in my family because they want me to be there so that this family name is all over.
yeah, and that's powerful because I was going to move into a Vadzimu, which is our ancestors. You know,
Hmm.
just mentioned something which I was going to ask you. We always assume, again, when we talk about our ancestors in Vadzimu, we tend to want to label it as something that's wrong, yet it's there to help us. When they come, whenever there's the presence of your ancestors or Vadzimu, whenever the presence is there, is a presence of wanting to help the family. Is that right?
That is true. Vanouya kuzovhumbanira, to look over the family. That is why they are there. Midzimu, they are there to protect, to lead, and to guide the family through the journey. That
Okay.
is why they are there.
Right.
And people need to know that even before Christianity came, we had a way of praying, we had a way of interceding with God. So that is what we are basically trying to tell people, that we need to go back there because Christianity is, a religion which was brought upon us, by force, actually, if I must say. But then we had a way of praying as well. That is what that is what we're talking about. And that way of praying is not supposed to go extinct just like that, because there are no people who are talking about these things. We're supposed to have more advocates talking about these things, teaching people about these things. And if it means making it cool somehow so that the younger generation embrace, we have to do that.
So be it. Yeah, yeah. And that's absolutely fascinating. So Right. I think people always get confused when we talk about help calling in Vadzimu to come and help us to channel. They'll be like, you're praying to your ancestors to take the message. Why are you praying another person that was created by God? Why are you praying? Why do you have to go through somebody that's dead? That's
We
all.
have to go through somebody who's okay, not dead as such, but older people. Even the Bible says you need to honor your father and your mother. You know, that is basically what we're doing. We are saying these people lived before us. They know many other more things which we don't know as 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 we survive now, because we are modern. But these people were there in the past. They know quite a lot of things. That is why we ask for guidance from them.
Yeah.
So that is how the channel comes through, to life.
And it's true that history repeats itself. So the things that we might
Definitely.
be going through now in the family are things that were there. And you can imagine, if you have the wisdom of how it was tackled, then you would be able to overcome it. So when you channel, or when you speak to your ancestors, or when you speak kunevadzimu, do you just speak to them just like that, or there are protocols?
Okay. I well, I'm gonna explain using maybe the way that I pray, and maybe many others. Pachivan, or in our Zimbabwean culture, many of the family, the families, they use snuff booty, to pray to their ancestors. They say that snuff or buteria is what pulls them closer to midzimu, because chero vanhu vakafa vacho vakaenda kare, they used to use snuff when they're doing their things. So you find that we use bute to pray, unotorisa pasi paivhu chaipo. Why? Because there's a connection between us and ivhu ratinenge takatsika, because it is the same land that our ancestors were stepping on. So that
Right.
is where the connection is. So you use bute, and yes, there are protocols. Kana uchisumira or uchikumbira kuvadzimu. Just like there are protocols kana uchinamata. We say we pray, and it is through Jesus Christ we pray, and it is that. Amen. So chero kuvadzimu, we've got protocols. You say ndini mutsa, ndiri mwana wanhingi, musukuru wanhingi, handitika kana tateguru vangu ndimi nhingi, ndauya kwamuri ndikusumawo nhunha dzangu, or zviri kunetsa ndisingakanganwiwo even my mother. You don't have to forget your mother's side, because for a person to be there, there is a man and a woman.
Yeah.
So tinosumira kudzinza rekwababa, tinosumira kudzinza rekwamai kumbereko. Ndo kunonzi kusumira midzimu yedu.
Okay. Okay. So basically, when you do that, it means you've started talking. How often do you have to do that?
It
Is it
actually depends with how flexible you are, but it is a way of life. Like I said, we never stop praying. Even in Christianity, we pray almost every time, because you find that attacks are going to be there almost every time. So you need to be on guard. You need to be praying. You need to be interceding to God through our ancestors each and every time. You need to be seeking guidance each and every time that you can, or that you are flexible. So there's no timetable. Whenever you feel like you need to speak to your ancestors for guidance, you need to speak to them for protection. You do that anytime, anyway.
I guess obviously you have you use that channel all the time and you see results?
Oh, yes, this is me today. Whatever that I do now, I believe that my ancestors are guiding me, and the talents which reside in me, which came through my ancestors from God. I mean, they are taking care of me. When I ask for something, I get it. In the Bible, they say, Kumbira unopiwa, knock and the door shall be opened. And that's how the doctrines move. It's the same things, basically. If you ask, you'll be given. So I have asked my ancestors for protection, for guidance, for healing, and I've gotten those most of the time, if not all the time.
Wow. Wow. That is powerful, you know. So there's something in element for us to learn how to do this, to follow these protocols, because and embracing it. Because I feel there is so much fear. I do not know why we are so afraid of confronting our culture. We would
You
rather
see,
go.
the funny thing is, people are afraid of praying kumidzimu yedu because they say we can't pray kuvanhu vakafa or vanhu vatisina kumboona. But I'm going to ask one question. Does any one of us, I mean, pane akamboona Jesu here? I mean, it's all about the faith that you have. When you are praying, it's all about faith. Because nobody who's living today has seen Jesus Christ in person, maybe in the spiritual form. Yes, we might say, he has been present in my vision or what. But that's the same thing with us in Tanzania. When we're talking about our ancestors, we're talking about people who, went a long time ago, but we believe it's the same blood which flows in us. So they are supposed to guide us. So it's all about routine, our faith, when you are praying to your ancestors so that they take our issues to God.
Right. Okay. And then now Mashavi. What
Mhm.
how do you define Mashavi? Do in English would they be just spirits or
I would better call them gifts. I don't
gifts?
know if gifts is the right term, especially when you to come to bed mashavi, then it will not be a gift then in that case.
Okay.
But generally, yes, they are gifts. So what happens with mashavi? I believe there is no mashavi which come on their own. Usually, it's our ancestors that calls or invites Mashari in our lives for the betterment of our lives. So you find that my ancestors, as the Gushungu ancestors, or from my mother's side, the Vairanyati Shonga, might actually invite a good spirit such as the gift of singing, so that it takes care of me as a person.
Right.
That's how it works.
Mm.
So there is no mashari we just come on their own, because if in that case they just show up on their own, there's a problem, because who have embraced them? Because the embracing is supposed to start from your ancestors. If your ancestors say no, 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 we don't want this shari around you, it means it will not come kwauri. But
Hey,
if they accept kuti okay, oh, we've got mwana wedu uyu Diana, ane shavi yake iri kuimba handitika, that's a good shavi, because it's going to take care of me, it's going to take care of the family, it's going to raise the family's name. So I believe that is a good shavi.
right.
But if it was witchcraft, I don't think my ancestors would actually accept and say tatambira uroi pamwana, because hakuna midzimu inoda kunzi yakatambira uroi. Hakuna midzimu yakaipa. Midzimu yakawanda iripo kuumba nekuchengetedza mhuri nemadzinza nenyika.
Nika. Now
Mm.
you've mentioned the big one, the country mediums, which is one
Makombwe mondoro.
overall. Tese to no protect
Yes.
under that one.
We are protected nemhondoro dzenyika ino, makombwe enyika ino, because we say kuti isusu munyika muno mune madunhu akasiyana siyana. We have got different provinces, or lands and it in our country. So you find that there's an overall spirit which guides us. We're talking about the Mbuyane spirit. We're talking about the Chaminuka. We're talking about the Wotempoti. We're talking about Anamtasa. So many spirits. The Chingairas from the Manicaland side. So those are Midzimu. They protect our land as a country, from troubles such as maybe wars, or natural disasters or zirwere, sicknesses and stuff. They are spirits which protect us from all that. And I can actually confirm or maybe uh, make people relate. I mean, we have heard the COVID era of late. We are in the COVID era, and we have studied and seen that this whole COVID problem has caused so much damage in the European world. You see, not because they don't have ancestors, but maybe our ancestors or midzimu yedu kuno ku Africa yakati no, we cannot embrace this sickness for our people to perish because it did not start from Africa. So you find that there are spirits which actually protect us from that. We're not saying people didn't die. People died, but not ne depth the situation that we had. Because
Yeah,
the pandemic was deadly, it was serious. But you find that for Africa it was a bit, on the low. So I strongly, strongly believe we had like our ancestors, which I mean they kept us through it. That's what I believe.
it's so funny you've said that because I was talking because I'm working on this project in Barry of trying to help the young people, and
Oh, thank you so much. Well done.
when you see the way they live, right?
Hmm.
Currently, you have to sanitize your hands. You have to wear masks. The way they live,
Definitely.
they didn't have that, but they survived. Do you know what I
They
mean?
did.
Oh,
I mean, we literally did not even have enough medication. In Africa, not in Zimbabwe only, but in Africa, we don't have the latest or the modern, techniques or whatever, you know, Kuma hospitals and everything. But look, Africa was not really affected the way that Europe was. And we say that Europe is like the first world, not
mm,
only Europe, but all the first world countries were apparently really damaged when it came to the
yeah.
COVID. And here we had Africa, third world. We sort of
That
survived a bit. Yeah,
that's one of my main drives of saying I need to understand because this is beyond. I mean, literally, people are surviving in the ways that I told you won't survive like that. But no social distancing, nothing. People are just going
people
on.
are just they're just walking around.
What is happening here? You and you see even kids playing and no worries. And I say to myself, there is a divine something be about.
There's definitely divine intervention.
Yeah.
No two ways about it.
So these ancestors, so this now focus on Zimbabwe as a country because this is the Zimbabwean culture we're talking about. I know there are other people from different African countries that are listening, and they have their ways. I'm obviously from Zimbabwe, so I'm probably going to be prone to want to understand that more first than any other culture
Definitely
because charity begins at home, right? So
true.
you mentioned the ancestors for the country, the ones that oversee the Mbuyanehanda, Chaminuka, Mutasa, and all of that. Who
Yes.
channels those? Who speaks to those mediums? Who has the authority to speak to those mediums?
Now, the person or the spirit that has got the authority to direct and guide those spirits now is God. You see,
Right.
so it's God on the upper hand, and there are those Mondoro Nimakombo Enechi. Those are spirits. They are not even people. They are spirits which reside in our land.
Some would say angels, right?
Yes, they are spirits or angels which reside in our land. But Izwiramari Rukutaura, those are the spirits. They are all over. So they can go and reside in you or in me or another Zinza or what, as a form of you know having a vessel, so to transporter what they want to say to the general people. We
Right.
find that we had near meter the first Mbuyane and we had another Mbuyane and Varinzi Ambuya Charwe. Ambuya Charwe was from the Mofu clan. But that does not mean that the Nehanda spirit is limited kuti yakungogara iri kuMofu clan. No. that is a spirit from God, is Wiramwari. So it can just say, ah, ngambuya charwe vasisipo vakaurayiwa nevarungu. Right now, it might actually be residing in a person anoyera moyo kana kuti muera nzou, because tiri kuti tese isusu tiri vana vepasi, we are children of this land. So these spirits vanonogara anywhere that they want, or kudzinzara vanenge vachiona kuti this person is divine, so we can stay there.
Wow. I smiled when you said, I didn't know, because I'm from the Mofu clan. So I didn't I didn't know. So that's fascinating to know.
Yeah.
So which is the Mofu clan. So it's
Hey,
very
vakange varichera, ambuya charwe vakange varichera. Vakazourayiwa vakasungirirwa nevarungu vaya.
wow.
Yes.
Really amazing. That is very, very fascinating. And so all this Chihera, Mofu, Mangwenya, and all of that, what is that? The
Mitupo iyo.
Tupo, yeah.
Matotems edu ndo anoita kuti tidifferentiate, kuti tisaroorane paukama, kuti tiziane kuti who is who and where are you from.
Right.
So yes, so we are differentiated with our totems. Manu Ranzo, another one is from the Kushungo clan, another one is from the Beta clan, another one is from, quite a lot, the Shumba clan. It's basically about differentiating Madzinza Kuti. Where did this Dzinza come from? In the Shakafamba say Kuti Wange Varkuno, because Zimbabwe is made up of Madzinza Akasiana Siana.
Okay.
In the Rajinji Vacho, they say that most of these people, or those ancestors that we're talking about, they came from Guruswa. That is where it all started. As they moved into Zimbabwe, that's what's said about. When it comes to history.
Right. Wow. Okay. But Mbuya Nehanda was the great. Or
not really.
Before?
I would like to put it this way. We
Yeah.
were probably just taught about Mbuya Neanda and Chaminuka and Kaguri. But it does not mean that they were like the main. There were actually many other spirits that we did not know about. What in our Black culture, we are taught to we don't have the spirit to document information. That is why you find that we don't know so much about many other things which happened in the past. So we are only taught about Mbuyanianda and Kaguri and Chaminika because those are the only ones which were which were documented. But there are many other angels or many other spirits which takes care of this country, this land, which we do not know about.
Definitely.
So for you to know about those spirits, you need to be to know the culture, actually, the Shona tradition. And in the Shona tradition, you get Kufamba, Mumatari, and Mabira, and Itika. And that's where spirits come down and they teach people, about all those things.
Right. So you mentioned something really important, which is very important. And I think we sometimes miss that golden thread, and then we then want to label that, the ancestors are not good and all of these things. I wanted to find out, you said the person that gets the medium, the person that gets the ancestors speaking through them, do they speak through a person? They will come inside.
Oh, yes.
So they take over.
The spirit will actually come inside a person, and that person is like a vessel. So that person is speaking because the spirit is upon them.
Okay. And then the Christians will call that possession.
Exactly. Oh, she's possessed with demons. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the important thing, which I think would relate back to the maybe people that think that's possession. You said those spirits are assigned by God.
Definitely.
So in other words, they're like, when angels are sent to help somebody, or when angels are sent to fight for somebody. So these spirits, our angels, our ancestors, who are our angels, they are sent by God to say, right, you will go and speak through Diana. You will.
Exactly. That's how it works.
So they are
That's definitely how it works.
but it's not something that just comes. But now you also mentioned that they're bad ones. How do you know then what's good and what?
Okay. When I say they are bad spirits, we're talking mostly about kumashari uko,
Okay, okay, okay,
not
not
kumizimu.
okay. So the Mashavi won't possess you, but Wadzimu will possess you.
Wazimu will possess you.
But Mashavi won't.
Mashari, they are there to just take care of you.
Okay, okay.
Sometimes, yes, they say they possess people, but it's the Wazimus which would have allowed
Oh,
Washari, you know,
okay.
or Mshari or Mashari Achu to possess a person. It's your ancestors which would have said, okay, you can take, making, you can take over. You know, like I've heard so many people say, you are so different when you're talking on a normal day, but when you go on stage, you're just, I don't know, there's so much energies, there's so much power, there's, you know, pamwe shavi iroro rekuimba rinenge rakuita zvinhu zvaro rakuita madana, but midzimu yangu ndo inenge yabvumira kuti ai chishanda apa pamwana awane kurarama, zita redu riende kumberi.
Wow. This is so beautiful, This is so beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the fact that there is a channel for us to be able to
The
tap.
doctrines are basically, they are generally the same. Like I said, Christians pray to God through Jesus Christ. We use the same doctrines. Ngoti vatinonamata nekuteurira vakasiyana, but we pray to God via our ancestors. And you find that in the Christian world, I'm just going to compare more on the Christian world so that people really understand, because there's so much stereotype when it comes to Tiranu and Shikristu. That's why I'm using those two as examples. In the
Yeah,
Christian world, they say that between maybe 12 a.m. or is it 3 a.m. up to Mangwana Maksen, they wake up, they pray, because those are divine hours according to them. Those are hours to be declaring what you want from God, to be casting out, evil spirits and everything. Even Kuchivan in the Chikaranga world, we also wake up during that time and we intercede to our ancestors kuti vatisvitsireo kuna Mwari, because we say that when most of the people will be sleeping, you also get blessings when you wake up and pray to your ancestors so that God blesses you with so many things. So you find that the doctrines are basically the same. You go to the Christian world, they have what they call altars, right? You get your money, you put it to the altar, you pray, you thank God, thanksgiving, because you've been blessed with money. We do that as well, even Kuchirano. We have our own altars. We have ndiro dzedu dzemuti dzatinoti kana wabva kunovhima unoisa kana iri mari yako ukwati, wokumbirira wotenda midzimu yako kuti ndabva musango, izvi ndo zvamandibatisa, ndo zvandawana. Midzimu yako ukaitenda, what it simply means is tomorrow they will help you on a bigger platform so that you get more and more.
So Diana, I know you only have a few more minutes, and I just want to give the floor to you. So I will go backstage. I will highlight you because I really want you to push the message that you want to leave the world today regarding our culture and dynamics, if that's okay.
It's okay. Well, basically, hi, my name is Diana Samkange once again, and I'm a cultural advocate. I advocate for Zimbabwean tradition and culture. It is said that we have seen that our culture as Zimbabweans is going down the drain of late, and it is up to us as the influencers, the musicians, the politicians, the public figures in Zimbabwe, to be able to raise awareness, in Zimbabweans in the land, that our culture and tradition is one of the things we are supposed to look into and make our priority. Because for us to know where we are going, we need to embrace our past and to really study our present um, life that we're living. That is only how we get answers about how our lives are going to be tomorrow. Um, Nizimiedu, our ancestors are not bad spirits. I'm going to advocate for this. They are not bad spirits at all. They are spirits sent by God through our families to guide us, to protect us, to heal us, to bring peace and unity amongst us as families, as provinces, as countries, even as the whole world. Hakuna nyika isina mizimu kana ancestors. Even the white people have got their own ancestors. So do not be misguided even by people who might say, why is it is popular in the black community? It is everywhere. We have even the white people, the white guys, they practice their traditions, their religions. You know, that Singaziwe, in a way we don't even know Isusu as blacks, because we are made to believe that our way of praying to God is demonic, which is not the case. So I'm going to really urge people to, from today, start to have passion to learn about Nzimiedu, about what goes on in that spiritual realm, Yevan Watema. Because only if you do that, then you have identity. You find that even in South Africa, they have embraced their culture, their tradition, their spiritual side. You find even people, young people in South Africa in town, they walk around with Machirawe Chirano because they embrace, they know Mizimiawo. It is what we're supposed to do as Zimbabweans, especially the younger generation. It is not so old-fashioned, to start believing in Izimiapo. No, it is actually a very good thing, because that is only where you get your guidance as a person. When you don't know such things, then you're just like a person moving around without their identification card. Makango fanana, because you don't even know who you are. People don't even know who you are. So you basically are not going anywhere. So there are programs that we're going to be doing. I am going to be doing personally, if everything goes good. As I was saying, if I get proper funding, I am going to venture into programs such as building culture centers for people. These culture centers will work perfectly well for even the school children. We have kids in schools who do not know about our culture, who do not know about our tradition and how people used to live Kudara. So when we have such centers, we will have even the old grannies and the old sekurus on our center, so that when kids visit, even during school trips, they get to know all those things. So those are some of the future plans that we have. You find that the culture center is also going to be good for tourists, people who want to know more about Zimbabwe and its tradition and its cultural side, its spiritual side. They also are welcome, will be welcome to visit that culture center. So, as Diana Samkange and many other people, I say Pamberi Nechivanu Chedu, and I really hope, I really pray that people will embrace our culture and our tradition, especially the spiritual side, and not have stereotype. One love.
Oh, amazing, 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 amazing. Thank you so, 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 so much. Please, please, please let me know when you start these things or events, because I've got quite a lot of young people that will come on board. And absolutely, you have just nailed it. I'm really humbled that you had time to come on the show, because we should be proud of who we are as Africans. Be proud of our identity. We should be proud of our names, because
Definitely.
there is beauty in being an African person. Absolute beauty and power in it. So thank you so, 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 so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much as well for having me on your show, Muta. it's such a very rich
Oh, thank you. Okay. Absolutely amazing. That has been amazing. It's so rich, it's so fulfilling to be able to be in a position where, you understand where you're coming from, when you understand what culture is. I think as people, sometimes we tend to get lost in what is defined as culture. We tend to want to put certain minds or certain labels on things, but our culture is beautiful, beautiful. I learned so much, so much. It's been amazing, but stay tuned. I have another